afternoon and welcome with IHA's Webinar Wednesday. Today you'll be learning more about how SmartBrief can help you reach 20,000 decision makers. This publication includes industry-specific news designed to keep you up to date on housewares industry trends and hot topics. Today our presenters are Liza Galui, Liza, Account Director with Housewares and Retail Vertical of SmartBrief, and Eleanor Massey, Associate Publisher within the Housewares and Retail Vertical of SmartBrief. So it gives me great pleasure to have Liza and Eleanor.
Thanks so much, Ginny. This is Liza and Eleanor. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into our webinar today to learn a bit more about the Housewares SmartBrief. So just really quickly to set the agenda, we're going to give some background on the publication, more so the breakdown of our audience, and a bit of an overview on news and content consumption. If you're unfamiliar with the publication, it is a daily update of curated industry news specific to the housewares industry, and it's free to subscribe. To the right is an example of what the e-newsletter that you would receive in your inbox looks like. And here's just a bit more information on our audience. So around 88% of our audience is manager level and above. We get around 33,000 views per week. And below are some of the top company names of retailers that are actively engaged with our publication.
And just to give you guys an idea of some research around digital media, according to new research from the Pew Research Center, nearly half of all Americans are getting their news online. TV continues to be a staple, but digital consumption is steadily on the increase compared to everything else. All the other mediums are staying pretty stagnant, if not dropping off. Some important stats to note: 2 out of 10 adults are currently getting news through print. We're expecting that to only decrease over the next several years as millennials and younger generations start to take over the marketplace and become more of the main age. In fact, an important thing to note, 85% of Americans now prefer to read their news on their smartphones. That's an actual 13% increase since 2006, which is a pretty big increase. As you all know, we're all constantly being inundated with news from all directions, from all different types of mediums, which is kind of where SmartBrief's purpose really came from, kind of understanding the need for presenting news in a concise, understandable, snackable way. So again, up on the screen right now is an example of some curated news from one of our newsletters. You'll notice that we give credit back to the original publication. So in this case, we're giving credit back to the Wall Street Journal, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and also the Age. But the original article is summed up in a 2 to 3 sentence summary. And we do that because we can give the reader a preview of the most important things to know from each article. And then if they still want to know more, they can click through.
So this year we've taken a deeper dive into the content that business decision makers look to as they're making purchasing decisions. We've partnered with the Content Marketing Institute, which is a thought leader in content trends. After surveying 1,200 director level and above B2B professionals across a variety of industries, we found a few trends when it comes to selecting vendors and suppliers. Business leaders are doing research on multiple options and solutions prior to making contact with suppliers. Educational and practical content sees higher engagement than promotional content. Being able to relate solutions directly to decision makers' needs is crucial, and the decision-making process is a collective process, meaning that the information must be in a shareable format, so something like an ebook, PDF, or white paper. And so this graph really reiterates what we just mentioned in the last slide. During this study, we asked the question to the respondents of what the 3 most important qualities of content reviewed in the purchasing decision-making process would be. And here we do have that it speaks to my specific needs and or pain points, provides product service specifications, and is more educational than promotional in nature.
So all of these findings kind of speak to exactly how people like to digest their news and how they prefer to be educated, which also tells us a lot about how we need to market to them. So an interesting stat to note, 90% of marketers create relevant, informative content to build trusted relationships with buyers. So knowing this, SmartBrief, we created a few ad units that are meant to do just that. So here outlined in red, you see our featured content unit, and this is formulated to do exactly that, to educate our reader on through original content from our brand. So this sees excellent engagement, 2 to 3 times higher engagement over a standard advertising unit. So think of standard banner ad. So this is a lot of what our advertising offerings are based off of, which is educating your target audience about the solutions that you can be, the type of solution you can be for them. So the next few slides, we're going to tell you more about some of our advertising opportunities, and they're bucketed out into kind of the 3 ways we think about our advertising. So we have content creation solutions, brand awareness solutions, lead generation. So we came up with this kind of organizational way of thinking about our advertising based on the way we're approached from a lot of advertisers. They usually say that these are their 3 biggest priorities. So I'm going to kick it over to Liza to take you through some advertising examples.
So firstly, we have a form of our native advertising called the rectangle text news section ad. This news section sponsorship is a great branding opportunity. It's truly our bread and butter and the most common form of native advertising we offer. Advertisers are given the logo, the image, and text, which is the curated news content in between. Next, we have the dedicated send, which is our version of an e-blast. It's the #1 lead generation product that we offer. It garners the highest amount of click-through. It's excellent for lead capture and when it comes to converting readers into actual customers. And it's also great for driving registrations or perhaps an asset download. Then we have the Spotlight. This is another 100% share of voice product. It's a great thought leadership opportunity. It's a great place to show any original content, perhaps an interview with a thought leader. It's also an awesome way to align your brand with an industry topic or trend.
Last but certainly not least, up on the screen right now and is an example of the IHA show report that we published last year with the big Housewares show just around the corner in March. We are excited to find our sponsor for 2018. And basically what this includes is coverage of leading up to the show. So we publish a pre-show report, which just gives you kind of a preview of what to expect at the show, new hot products to look out for. And then we also publish a post-show report, which just kind of wraps up what the key events were at the show, the key topics discussed. And again, this is sponsorable and is an excellent way to align yourself with the organization and the event itself. So if anyone is interested in boosting their presence around this time of year, specifically around the show, let us know. We'd love to talk to you about the opportunities. And that's really all we have for today. I know that was short, but hopefully sweet, and we'd love to open the floor for questions and hear comments or feedback or questions from you guys.
Okay, we do have a few questions. How does SmartBrief get its subscribers?
That's a great question. So when we partner with an association, our subscribers become those of the association members that have opted into our resource. This is how we initially build a new publication. We're sure to scrub our list often to keep high engagement, and we're also constantly running trials to our list to grow the audience. And it's also free to subscribe, so sign up today.
All right, perfect. What reporting do you provide to an advertiser?
Sure. So our standard reporting offers the company name and job titles of those that have engaged with the ads. And if you're interested in retaining more information from our readers, we do have the ability to set up a lead capture campaign, which is a way for our advertisers to receive even more details about those engaging with their ads.
Okay, we have a few more. Is there a set editorial calendar in SmartBrief?
Another great question. So actually, no, because we are a late-breaking news source. We kind of never know what the focus of each newsletter is going to be because it's all about the latest and greatest news. But we do have the ability to work with our editors on finding important topics that a sponsor perhaps wants to be aligned with. So maybe it's, something like growing technology in a space, or consumer demand, or demand for XYZ. We can work with you to curate news around that particular topic if it's something that you want to be aligned with in the industry. So the short answer is no, we don't have an editorial calendar, but we can come up with a custom topic to align yourself with.
Okay, great. Who are the subscribers? Do retailers read SmartBrief?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go back to close to the beginning of the presentation, we give a few examples of some of our top subscribers, which are all retailers. So companies like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, Amazon, really are able to cover a variety of not only specialty retail, but also your big box, brick and mortar, as well as the e-commerce. And also additionally mom and pop stores. So it really gives a great variety of the retail world. And
okay,
yeah,
great. Could you talk a little more about who the advertisers will be reaching if they do advertise with SmartBrief?
Sure, absolutely. So I think, this is a good time too to back up just for a second and mention that in addition to publishing for the lovely IHA, we also publish for over 200 different industry associations. So in addition to reaching retailers through IHA, we can help advertisers reach retailers through some of our other partnerships as well. So like the National Retail Federation and Food Marketing Institute. So all that said, that once you're within the SmartBrief network as an advertiser, we can help you specifically target these types of retailers no matter where they're reading. So if they're reading in IHA and some of the other briefs that I mentioned. Elijah, do you have anything to add to that? Does that kind of explain?
I think that covers it. If there's anything I could add, it's when people do sign up with us, they give us their business card information. So not only are we able to see the company names of our readers, we're also able to know that we do have this 88% manager level and above readership because of the fact that it is self-reported information.
Perfect. What are the costs of the various ads, or would that be you would recommend them to contact you, one of you directly, and you can discuss that in private?
Yeah, I mean, it's all of our pricing is included in our media kit, which we would be more than happy to follow up with after the webinar.
Okay, well, that seems to be the hot question. We've had that asked 3 times. Well, that is it. Those are all the questions that we've had. So I would like to thank Liza and Eleanor for all that they have done. It was a short and very to the point webinar and very valuable information. So we highly recommend that for those of you that are interested, please contact Liza or Eleanor. This is a very valuable tool, and it's a great way to reach the retailers and many other people. So for all of you who would like to see this webinar again, we will have it on www.housewares.org, or if you would like, we most certainly can send you the link as well. So Eleanor, Liza, do you have anything else or are we done?
Sure. Since you mentioned that pricing was more of a hot question, just to give sort of a ballpark, our test packages for this particular audience typically start at around $2,000 to $3,000 for a test package, and typically will range anywhere from there to $8,000 for a starter package. So just to give you sort of an estimate of what a package could look like. And we're more than happy, of course, to chat further about that and what is included with that after the webinar.
Well, that's great. And as you all could see, that the pricing is very reasonable for all the people you are reaching. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for attending IHA's Webinar Wednesday. I'd like to thank Liza and Eleanor again for presenting Housewares SmartBrief. And if anyone would like to see this, it is at www.housewares.org. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Liza. Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you.